Hey everyone, welcome to 996 Howl. For the uninitiated, this is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Didn't anticipate to make a video today, and I should probably leave this record up for the rest of the summer, it seems like, because the bad news keeps on piling. The NHL announcing today they have sanctioned the Arizona Coyotes and they will lose their second round pick this year and first round pick next draft next year, whenever that is, due to draft negligence, which the story was kind of rumbling, beginning of the year, and then it was quiet, and I thought everything was smoothed out. Even with Chaika's departure, I thought maybe the NHL and the Coyotes discussed a settlement or discussed something and they'd move on from it. But no, the NHL, Gary Bettman decides to just unleash hellfire onto the team like the team didn't already need it. So they lose 2 draft picks, second round pick this year, first round pick next year. The Coyotes are without a first, second, or third round pick this draft, happening in October, I think, when the playoffs are done, obviously. So, this draft is kind of a wash for the Coyotes. They won't get a pick a player until the 4th round. Usually 4th round picks don't amount to anything. I believe Connor Garland might be a 4th round pick, actually. I didn't really look into that. But, if you're a Coyotes fan hoping that this draft will turn around this team somehow, not sure why you would think that. Temper your expectations for the draft. And also, if you're hoping that the team is going to go into a rebuild and coop draft picks, I don't see that happening either. I'm not trying to know what I'm trying to say here. Nor do I think why someone would think this team needs a rebuild. I think I'm starting to see the sentiment around the team be a bit more apocalyptic and devastating. The fan base is just devastated on all the medias, the Twitters, the Reddits, the Discords. It's sort of becoming unbearable. The reaction to the last 2 games of the Coyotes season has set some people off on this tangent that this team has no future. Everything around this team is bleak. Our players aren't good. They need to strip everything down, go for a rebuild. Where I'm just here sitting like, wow, this team was a consistent playoff team for half the season. Kemper went down to an injury. The team kind of lost its mojo in the latter half of the season. Chaika tried to help the team with getting Taylor Hall by forfeiting a first-round pick to acquire him and some assets. And, things didn't turn out well, and then COVID happens, and they have to play in a play-in to make the playoffs. They managed to beat the Nashville Predators, who apparently are the worst team ever created, because, everyone had Nashville to win. And even though the Coyotes beat them fair and square, they outplayed them in certain parts of the games. Nashville played a great series too, and outplayed the Coyotes in certain parts of the games as well. It seems like that was an undeserved win against Nashville, and then the debacle with the Avalanche facing a really good team that they weren't prepared for. The Coyotes are facing a lot of injuries, and Nick Schmaltz, Christian Dvorak had a separated shoulder. A couple other guys were bruised up, but I guess just the statements of those last 2 games really set forth this sentiment that this team is just in a hole that they'll never get out of, where I'm kind of on the status quo side. They have the players there, the personnel there. There's an argument to be made about talking whether his system works with his team. I could have a conversation with that. I would like to see how this team works with a more offensively minded coach. I think this team would actually do better with that. But as it stands now, this team is capable of being a playoff team. They're not going to, go far into the playoffs with this current team. No, this team needs to grow more. Hayden is going to come in and Soderstrom's going to come in next season, and they need to start growing into NHL regulars. We need the younger players to get better. Dvorak, Keller, Krause. We'll see what happens with Fisher and Hennis Rosa if they get signed as restricted free agents. Schmaltz. This team has the pieces. They could get to where they were in December for sure. Kessel needs to be way better. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I guess this is just top of mind. The losing the first round pick next year hurts. but it's not devastating at all. If anything, the team is losing a piece that they could trade for a rental for a playoff push. I don't think this team was hanging on to that 2021 first round pick. I mean, I'm reading a lot of stories lately on Craig Morgan's website, and I'm making a GM video. I'm in the process of making a GM video. But Steve Sullivan said they made the playoffs. The goal for this organization is to be a consistent playoff team and contend in the playoffs. And that first round pick wasn't really going to help them. That's a player who's probably 2 or 3 years out to develop, because the Coyotes in the year 2021 are going to be contending for the playoffs. They're not going to be a basement team. So that first round pick wasn't going to be a low pick. I mean, we're all assuming here, but the team is built and is going to a direction to contend. And that pick was going to be of not much use. If anything, like I said, is going to be used as trade bait or used to have a long project ahead of them to develop a young player. Obviously, you always want young players in development. So yes, I agree it hurts, but it's not as devastating as people are making out to be. If I want to talk about Chaika, I'm a Chaika fanboy, as you know. It sucks. Everything surrounding him and his departure, and I mean, the facts haven't come out exactly what he did, but obviously he was trying to bend the rules, which is unfair to all the other teams. He left. We exactly don't know why he left, if he picked a new job, if he had disagreements with ownership, because this penalty was already apparent to them and was just private knowledge at the time. So the owners got mad at Chaika, or the team, the whole organization turned their backs on Chaika because they're like, yo, you cost us several draft picks. We might get penalized $250,000, which thankfully Bettman didn't penalize the team for. So yeah, I mean, the whole departure, I hope someone writes a story, some journalistic mind out there writes a story of exactly what happened. But yeah, it sucks what Chaika did. It was unfair to the league, unfair to other teams. I'm disappointed in what he did. I'm disappointed in his whole departure. I still like the team he built. I think the team is built well. And whoever the next GM is, obviously I'm making a new video on that, will have to inherit all of this hoopla around the team. But I'm not devastated. I'm not so worried. I believe in this team to make the playoffs next year, because they were on track to do it without Taylor Hall. And we all thought Taylor Hall would elevate this team, and then Kemper goes down with an injury, and the players kind of lose the mojo, lose the juice, don't know who to put the blame on there, the leadership, veterans, or Talkett. So we'll see. A lot of changes are to come this offseason. I mean, you look at the Leafs already making changes, Pittsburgh giving away a first-round pick. The Pittsburgh Penguins have had one first-round pick in 7 years, so it's not that devastating. Obviously, they won 2 cups, but the Coyotes are going to be without a first-round pick for 2 years straight, so it's not that huge, massive deal that everyone's trying to make it out to be. I mean, you can still contend without first-round picks. I believe in the team they have. There's going to be some changes moving out salary, which means a defenseman or Ranta or Stepan, because they make the high cap hits and are aging and won't be part of the team's future. So there's going to be changes, yeah. And we'll see if Steve Sullivan trades those guys either for permanent NHL players that are NHL ready, or tries to replace that first-round pick. So we'll see. So yeah, bad news, not end of the world news. It's bad news, and they have to work around this. And we just got to keep our heads up and see what changes the organization makes in the coming weeks. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. It's always bad news when I make a video, it seems. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.